Picture this, a limited-run supercar so rare that only 499 people on the entire planet will ever park one in their garage, wearing a name borrowed from a man Ferdinand Porsche himself once called the greatest driver of all time. Welcome back to Prime Car Culture, and welcome to the car that just brought the soul of Audi's legendary R8 roaring back from the dead, the 2027 Audi Nuvolari. This isn't just another supercar launch, this is Audi throwing away the electric-only rulebook it wrote for itself just a few years ago, and building something raw, something loud, something with a mid-mounted twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8 engine screaming to 10,000 RPM, a range of revs that used to belong exclusively to the world of motorsport. Before we get into the numbers that will genuinely stop your scrolling, just take a second to look at this silhouette. Wide, low, muscular, and unmistakably German in its aggression, the Nuvolari wears an entirely new design language for Audi, one built around a carbon-wrapped Audi spaceframe chassis and shaped by lessons pulled straight from Formula One. Let's start right up front, because this face means business. The lower intake structure is enormous, pulling in massive volumes of air to feed both the twin-turbo V8 behind the cabin and the brake cooling ducts that this car desperately needs given what it's capable of. The geometry here isn't decoration. Every vent, every duct, every carbon winglet you see on this fascia is doing real aerodynamic work, channeling air with the kind of precision usually reserved for a race car on a Sunday afternoon, not a road car you could theoretically drive to the grocery store. Now look at those headlights. Slim, sharp, almost blade-like in their shape. They sit low and wide across the nose, giving the Nuvolari a predatory stance that makes it look like it's already moving, even when it's sitting perfectly still in a showroom. And watch this daytime running light signature come alive. 4 horizontally arranged lighting elements stretch across the face of this car. A signature so distinctive that you could pick this Nuvolari out of a lineup of 100 other supercars in complete darkness, purely from the shape of its light. It's a callback to Audi's obsession with lighting technology, but pushed further, sharper, more theatrical than anything the brand has done before. Moving around to the wheels now, and these forged alloys are doing double duty. They're not just holding this car up, they're wrapped around a set of massive carbon ceramic brakes that this powertrain absolutely requires. Because when you can hit 100 kilometers an hour in 2.6 seconds, you'd better be able to stop just as violently. The spoke design is deliberately open and aggressive, letting you see straight through to the calipers, a small detail that instantly signals this is not a car built for comfort commuting. It's built for devouring apex after apex. Here's the door handle, flush and minimal, almost disappearing into the bodywork when not in use. A small aerodynamic touch that keeps the airflow along the flank of the car as clean as possible. Because at speeds beyond 350 kilometers an hour, even the smallest protrusion becomes a problem. The side mirrors sit on slender, aero-optimized stalks, positioned to slice through turbulent air rather than fight it, feeding clean airflow down the flanks toward the rear haunches where the real magic of this car's cooling system happens. Speaking of the rear, let's talk about these taillights, because they are absolutely the exclamation point on this car's design. Thin, horizontal, glowing red across the entire width of the tail. They sit above a rear diffuser so aggressive it looks like it was pulled directly off an endurance racer. This is a car that generates real, measurable downforce, not just the illusion of speed through styling tricks, and the active aerodynamic elements integrated back here adjust themselves in real time, based on how hard you're pushing. And right in the middle of all that drama, listen to this. The exhaust pipes on the Nuvolari are positioned high and central, a layout borrowed from motorsport, where thermal efficiency matters more than anything else. And when that V8 spins toward its 10,000 RPM redline, the sound coming out of these pipes is unlike almost anything else on the road today. Raw, mechanical, and completely unfiltered by the artificial engine noise so many modern performance cars rely on. Let's not forget the badge, because right here on the nose and again on the tail sits the 4 rings, but reworked, contextualized, sitting proudly on a car that represents Audi's most powerful production vehicle in its entire history. A genuine flagship moment for a brand that spent years telling the world it was going all electric before changing course to build this hybrid monster instead. Now let's step inside, because the drama absolutely does not stop at the door sill. This dashboard is a masterclass in driver-focused design. A cockpit-style layout that wraps around you, rather than simply sitting in front of you, blending motorsport-inspired ergonomics with genuine daily usability, something you don't always get in cars this extreme. Wrap your hands around this steering wheel for a second. Flat-bottomed, thickly bolstered, covered in premium materials that feel more like a race harness than a luxury accessory, with integrated controls positioned exactly where your thumbs naturally fall, letting you adjust drive modes without ever taking your eyes off the road ahead. Directly behind that wheel sits a fully digital instrument cluster, sharp, configurable, and capable of switching between a clean, minimal daily display and a full-screen, motorsport-style readout that pushes engine temperature, tire pressure, torque distribution, and hybrid battery status right into your line of sight the moment you switch into a more aggressive driving mode. Just beside it, the infotainment screen is angled slightly toward the driver, another small but meaningful nod to the idea that this is a car built around the person behind the wheel first and every passenger second, running Audi's latest software architecture with crisp graphics and lightning-fast response times. Down here on the center console, you'll notice how much of it is dedicated purely to performance control, drive mode selectors, hybrid boost management, and quick access toggles for the active aerodynamics and quattro predictive ride system that constantly reads steering angle, yaw, acceleration, and grip levels to keep this car planted no matter how hard you're pushing it through a corner. And right beside that, this gear shifter is compact, tactile, and finished in materials that make every single shift feel like an event rather than a chore. A small mechanical touchpoint in a car otherwise dominated by digital intelligence. Sink into these front seats now, deeply bolstered, wrapped in premium leather, and shaped specifically to hold you in place under the kind of lateral loads this car is capable of generating, because comfort here has been very deliberately balanced against the need to keep you locked in place at speed. As night falls, this cabin transforms completely. The ambient lighting washes across the door panels and dashboard in a customizable glow, turning what was a purposeful, motorsport-flavored cockpit during the day into something genuinely intimate and dramatic after dark, the kind of lighting that turns a simple night drive into a memory. Run your fingers across these door panels and you'll feel it immediately. Hand-finished leather stitching, contrast threadwork, and carbon fiber trim pieces that aren't just for show. They're genuinely structural in places, shaving weight everywhere Audi possibly could. Every seam, every stitch, every material transition in this cabin has been considered, because when you're asking someone to spend the euro equivalent of nearly $700,000 on a car, the craftsmanship inside has to match the drama outside. Now for the moment this entire video has been building toward. Let's open up the engine bay. Underneath this glass and carbon cover sits the beating heart of the Nuvolari, a 4-liter, twin-turbocharged V8 developed in partnership with Lamborghini, sharing its fundamental architecture with the Temerario, producing 800 horsepower entirely on its own, before you even factor in electrification. Look closely at this engine bay layout. It's tight, it's purposeful, every component positioned for optimal weight distribution and thermal management, because Audi has been out at the Nürburgring specifically validating how this engine behaves under sustained, high-load thermal stress, the kind of punishment most road cars will never actually experience. Now here's where it gets genuinely wild. This V8 doesn't work alone. 2 oil-cooled electric motors sit up front on the axle, each one capable of contributing serious torque individually, working as part of the Quattro all-wheel drive system to shuffle power exactly where it's needed, instant to instant, while a third electric motor sits between the V8 and the transmission itself, smoothing power delivery and adding a genuine electric boost the moment you bury your foot into the throttle. All of that electrical hardware draws from a compact lithium-ion battery pack tucked low in the chassis for center of gravity purposes. And when you add every single one of these power sources together, the total combined output climbs to an almost absurd 1,001 horsepower. Let that number sit with you for a second, because it makes this the most powerful production vehicle Audi has ever built in its entire history, and paired with a curb weight kept as low as possible thanks to that carbon-intensive space frame, the results are exactly what you'd expect from a car engineered with genuine Formula One know-how behind it. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 2.6 seconds, 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in under 7 seconds flat, and a top speed comfortably beyond 350 kilometers an hour, which works out to more than 217 miles an hour for anyone doing the mental math at home. This isn't a car built to be practical. It isn't built to be sensible, and honestly, it was never meant to be. The Nuvolari exists purely as a statement, proof that even in an era obsessed with silent all-electric transportation, there is still a place, however limited, however expensive, for something as gloriously unhinged as a screaming 10,000 RPM V8, wrapped in Formula One thinking and hybrid electric muscle. With deliveries beginning in the first half of 2027 and only 499 units ever leaving the factory floors in Germany and Italy, this is a car that most of us will only ever experience through a screen exactly like this one, which is precisely why we wanted to bring you every single angle of it, every panel gap, every stitch, every curve, because a car this special genuinely deserves to be seen properly. That's the 2027 Audi Nuvolari V8 for you, a supercar that proves Audi hasn't lost its nerve, it's simply been saving its best work for a comeback nobody saw coming. If this walk around gave you chills the same way it gave us chills putting it together, smash that like button, subscribe to Prime Car Culture for more premium car breakdowns just like this one, and drop a comment telling us which shot in this video was your absolute favorite, because we read every single one of them. Until the next drive, we'll see you right back here on Prime Car Culture.